Welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to talk about something that can completely change the way people treat you. Self-respect. Because the truth is simple. If you don't respect yourself, the world will not respect you either. Many people lose themselves trying to impress others. They seek validation. They tolerate disrespect. They ignore their own value just to be accepted. And slowly, their confidence disappears, their peace disappears, their identity disappears. But here is the truth. Real confidence does not come from attention. It comes from self-respect. The way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you protect your peace. All of these things decide your value. And in this video, you are going to learn 7 powerful lessons that will help you build confidence, protect your energy, and become mentally stronger. So stay with us till the end. Because once you truly learn to respect yourself, your whole life begins to change. Lesson 1. Respect yourself through your appearance. The way you present yourself to the world matters more than you think. Not because expensive clothes make you important, but because self-respect begins with how you treat yourself. Many people think appearance is only about impressing others, but real appearance is about discipline. It is about confidence. It is about showing yourself that you matter. Now think about this. When you wake up and completely ignore yourself, when you wear anything carelessly, when you stop taking care of your body and appearance, slowly, your mindset changes too. You start feeling lazy. You start losing confidence. You stop feeling motivated. Because your outer appearance affects your inner energy. Now here is the truth. Looking your best is not about being rich. It is not about expensive brands. It is about effort. Clean clothes, good hygiene, a healthy body, a confident posture. These things show self-respect. And when you respect yourself, people naturally notice it. Now let us go deeper. Your appearance sends a message before you even speak. People observe your energy, your posture, your grooming, your confidence. And these things affect first impressions. This is why taking care of yourself matters. Not to impress everyone, but to build confidence within yourself. Now imagine this. You wake up early, you get ready properly, you dress neatly. Immediately, your mindset changes. You feel more prepared, you feel more focused, you feel more confident walking into the world. That is the power of presentation. Now here is something important. The way you dress affects how you feel mentally. When you look careless, your mind often becomes careless too. But when you look organized, your mind feels more disciplined. This is why successful people pay attention to presentation, because appearance affects mindset. Now let us talk about posture. Many people ignore this, but posture changes your energy. Walking with confidence, standing straight, making eye contact. These things increase your presence. Now imagine 2 people entering a room. One walks with confidence. The other looks insecure and unsure. Even before they speak, people feel a difference. Why? Because confidence is visible, and confidence begins with self-respect. Now here is another truth. Taking care of your appearance also means taking care of your health. Your body is your responsibility. Exercise regularly. Eat healthier food. Sleep properly. Because when your body becomes stronger, your mind becomes stronger too. Now think about this. How can you expect confidence if you constantly ignore yourself? Self-respect means valuing your physical and mental well-being. Now let us go even deeper. Many people wait for life to improve. before they start respecting themselves. They think, I will take care of myself after success. But smart people do the opposite. They respect themselves first. And that self-respect helps them become successful. Because confidence attracts opportunities. Now here is something powerful. When you start treating yourself better, you automatically stop accepting disrespect from others. Because your standards rise. You no longer feel desperate for validation. You no longer feel the need to beg for attention. Why? Because self-respect creates inner strength. Now imagine this. You start dressing better. You improve your posture. You take care of your health. You begin respecting yourself daily. Slowly, your confidence changes. The way you talk changes. The way you think changes. And people begin treating you differently too. Not because clothes changed your life, but because your energy changed. Now here is something important. Looking your best does not mean trying to impress people all the time. It means showing yourself that you are valuable, that your life matters, that you deserve care and effort, and that mindset changes everything. Now let us go deeper one final time. When you neglect yourself, you slowly lose confidence. But when you invest effort into yourself daily, you build pride, not arrogance. Healthy pride. The kind that says, I respect myself enough to take care of myself. And that kind of confidence is powerful. Now here is the final truth. People often treat you based on the standards you set for yourself. If you treat yourself carelessly, many people will do the same. But if you carry yourself with confidence and self-respect, people notice it immediately. So, from today, take care of yourself. Dress with confidence. Walk with confidence. Respect your body. Respect your appearance. Because self-respect is not only about what is inside you, it is also about how you choose to present yourself to the world. Lesson 2. Think before you speak. Your words have power. More power than most people realize. The way you speak, the way you react, the way you communicate with others. All of these things shape your respect. Many people lose respect not because they are bad people, but because they speak without thinking. They react emotionally. They say unnecessary things. They talk too much. And later, they regret it. Now here is the truth. Mature people understand something important. Not every thought needs to be spoken. Not every argument deserves a reaction. And not every situation needs your opinion. This is why self-control is powerful. Now think about this. How many problems in life begin because of words? One angry sentence, one emotional reaction, one careless comment. Words can damage relationships. Words can destroy trust. Words can ruin opportunities. This is why thinking before speaking is a sign of intelligence and self-respect. Now let us go deeper. People judge your mindset by your words. If you constantly gossip, complain, or speak negatively, people notice it. But when you speak calmly and wisely, people respect you more. Because calmness shows control, and control creates value. Now imagine this. Someone insults you publicly. Most people react immediately. They become emotional. They shout. They lose control. But imagine you stay calm. You think before speaking. You respond with confidence instead of anger. Immediately, your value increases. Because emotional control is rare, and rare qualities create respect. Now here is something important. Talking more does not make you smarter. In fact, people who speak less often appear more confident. Why? Because they choose their words carefully. They listen more. They observe more. And when they finally speak, their words carry value. Now let us talk about silence. Silence is powerful, very powerful. Many people are uncomfortable with silence, so they speak just to fill empty space. But smart people understand. Silence protects peace. Sometimes silence avoids unnecessary conflict. Sometimes silence prevents regret. And sometimes silence is stronger than any argument. Now let us go even deeper. Thinking before speaking also means respecting others. Words can hurt people deeply. And once words leave your mouth, you cannot take them back. This is why wise people pause before reacting. They ask themselves, will these words help? Will these words create peace or more problems? Is this necessary to say? This small pause changes everything. Now imagine this. You become more mindful with your words. You stop reacting emotionally. You stop saying unnecessary things. Slowly, people start trusting you more. They start respecting your presence because your words become meaningful. Now here is another truth. Your mouth can build your future or destroy it. Many opportunities are lost because people cannot control their speech. They speak emotionally during difficult moments. They disrespect others. They say things without thinking. And later, they regret it. This is why communication is a life skill. Now let us talk about gossip. People who gossip often lose respect quickly. Because if someone constantly talks about others, people assume they will also talk badly about them. This destroys trust. Respectful people avoid unnecessary drama. They focus on growth instead of talking about people all day. Now imagine this. You stop speaking negatively. You stop gossiping. You speak calmly and confidently. Your whole energy changes. People begin taking you seriously. Why? Because controlled words show a controlled mind. Now here is something powerful. The strongest person in a room is often the calmest person. Not the loudest, not the most emotional, the calmest, because calmness shows maturity. Now let us go deeper one final time. Thinking before speaking also protects your peace. Many arguments are unnecessary. Many conflicts are meaningless. Sometimes protecting your peace is more important than proving a point. And mature people understand this. Now here's the final truth. Your words reveal your mindset, so choose them carefully. Speak with purpose. Speak with calmness. Speak with wisdom. And learn when to stay silent. Because respect is not only built by what you do, it is also built by the way you speak. Lesson 3. Stop gossiping about others. One of the fastest ways to lose respect is constantly talking about other people. Gossip may feel entertaining for a few minutes, but slowly, it damages your mindset, your character, and your peace. Most people gossip without even realizing how harmful it is. They talk about people's mistakes. They judge people's lives. They spread negativity for entertainment. And after some time, it becomes a habit. Now here is the truth. People who constantly gossip about others usually avoid working on themselves because it is easier to discuss someone else's life than to improve your own. Now think about this. When someone sits with you and constantly talks badly about others, what happens? At first you may listen, but slowly, you stop trusting them because deep inside, you know something important. If they gossip about others with me, they will gossip about me with someone else. And this is why gossip destroys trust. Now let us go deeper. Every time you gossip, you fill your mind with negativity. Instead of learning, instead of growing, instead of improving, your energy goes toward drama, and drama steals peace. Now imagine this. You spend 1 hour every day gossiping about people. After that hour, what have you gained? Nothing. No growth, no wisdom, no improvement, only negativity. Now imagine something different. You spend that same hour learning a skill, reading something useful, improving your life. Slowly, your future changes. This is why your focus matters. Now here is something important. Respectful people do not enjoy destroying others with words. They understand that everyone has struggles. Everyone makes mistakes. And mature people don't feel powerful by talking badly about others. They feel powerful by improving themselves. Now let us talk about another truth. Gossip often comes from insecurity. People gossip because it temporarily makes them feel better about themselves. When they criticize someone else, they forget their own problems for a moment. But this feeling is temporary, and it creates a toxic mindset, because negative habits grow over time. Now imagine this. You stop gossiping completely. You stop entertaining useless drama. You focus only on growth and positivity. Slowly, your mind becomes calmer. Your energy becomes lighter. You stop carrying unnecessary negativity all day, and your peace increases. Now here is another truth. The people around you also affect this habit. If your circle constantly talks negatively about others, you may slowly become the same. This is why your environment matters, because gossip spreads quickly. Now think about successful and focused people. They are usually too busy building their own life to spend hours talking about someone else's life. They focus on goals. They focus on improvement, and that focus creates growth. Now let us go even deeper. Gossip also weakens your character, because every time you speak negatively about others unnecessarily, you train your mind to focus on faults instead of value. And eventually, that negativity affects how you see the world. You become more judgmental, more negative, less peaceful. Now here is something powerful. One of the strongest signs of maturity is staying silent when others are gossiping. Not joining, not encouraging, not spreading negativity. Because protecting your peace is more valuable than fitting into toxic conversations. Now imagine this. Someone begins gossiping in front of you. Instead of participating, you change the topic. Or you stay quiet. Immediately, your value increases. Because people notice maturity. And maturity creates respect. Now here's another truth. Talking negatively about others does not make you stronger. It only reveals your mindset. Strong people build. Weak people criticize. Strong people improve themselves. Weak people stay busy discussing others. Now let us go deeper one final time. Life becomes more peaceful when you stop focusing on everyone else. The less drama you entertain, the calmer your mind becomes. And peace is powerful. Now here is the final truth. Gossip gives temporary entertainment, but destroys long-term respect. So protect your words. Protect your mindset. Protect your peace. Focus on your own growth. Because the moment you stop wasting energy talking about others, you finally begin improving yourself. Lesson 4. Invest in yourself. One of the greatest forms of self-respect is investing in yourself. Your mind, your body, your skills, your future. Most people spend years investing in impressing others, but very little time investing in themselves. They buy things for attention. They chase validation. They try to look successful without actually growing. And slowly, they feel empty inside. Now here is the truth. The best investment you will ever make is yourself. Because when you improve yourself, every part of your life improves too. Now think about this. Money spent on useless things disappears quickly, but money spent on growth returns to you for years. Learning a skill, reading books, improving your health, building discipline, these things continue helping you for life. Now let us go deeper. Investing in yourself is not only about money, it is also about time and energy. How much time do you spend growing? How much energy do you spend improving your life? Because many people say they want success, but spend most of their time distracted, scrolling endlessly, complaining, wasting hours every day. And then they wonder why nothing changes. Now imagine something different. You decide to invest in yourself daily. You read for 30 minutes. You exercise regularly. You learn something useful. Slowly, your mindset changes. Your confidence grows. Your future starts changing. Not because of luck, but because you invested in yourself consistently. Now here is something important. Your knowledge increases your value. The more you learn, the more capable you become. And capable people feel confident naturally. Because confidence does not come from pretending. It comes from preparation and growth. Now let us talk about health. Your body is your responsibility. Many people ignore their health until problems appear. They eat carelessly. They never exercise. They sleep badly. And slowly, their energy becomes weak. Now here is the truth. A healthy body creates a stronger mind. When you exercise, your confidence improves. Your focus improves. Your discipline improves. Because physical strength affects mental strength too. Now imagine this. You wake up early. You work on your health. You feed your mind positive things. You learn daily. After 1 year, you are completely different. Stronger mentally, stronger physically, more confident emotionally, because growth changes your identity. Now let us go even deeper. Investing in yourself also means protecting your peace. Not every place deserves your energy. Not every person deserves your attention. Sometimes investing in yourself means resting. Sometimes it means walking away from negativity. Sometimes it means choosing peace over drama. And that is self-respect too. Now here's another truth. People who invest in themselves stop chasing validation all the time. Why? Because their confidence comes from growth, not from attention, not from approval. They know their value because they worked on themselves. Now think about successful people. Most of them spend years learning, improving, and growing before success becomes visible. They invest in themselves first, and that investment creates results later. Now let us talk about discipline again. Investing in yourself requires consistency. You cannot improve your life in one day. Growth happens slowly, one habit at a time, one lesson at a time, one improvement at a time. But over time, small improvements create massive change. Now imagine this. Every single day you improve just a little. You become more disciplined, more skilled, more focused. After some time, you no longer recognize the old version of yourself. Because self-investment transforms people. Now here is something powerful. When you invest in yourself, people start respecting you differently. Not because you became perfect, but because your energy changes. You carry yourself differently. You think differently. You act differently. And confidence naturally follows growth. Now let us go deeper one final time. The world changes quickly. Skills change. Opportunities change. But the person who keeps learning and improving always stays valuable. That is why self-growth is never a waste. Now here is the final truth. No investment gives a greater return than investing in yourself. Not money, not status, not attention. Because when you improve yourself, your whole life improves. So from today, stop wasting your potential. Read more. Learn more. Train your body. Protect your mind. Build your future. Because the better you become, the better your life becomes too. Lesson 5. Set boundaries and value your time. One of the biggest signs of self-respect is knowing your value. And when you truly know your value, you stop allowing everyone to control your time, energy, and peace. Most people struggle with this. They say yes to everything. They tolerate disrespect. They keep chasing people who give them very little in return. And slowly, they lose themselves. Now here is the truth. If you don't respect your own boundaries, people will continue crossing them. Because the way people treat you often depends on the standards you set. Now think about this. How many times have you stayed in situations that hurt your peace just because you didn't want to disappoint others? How many times did you ignore disrespect because you were afraid of losing people? And how many times did you give your energy to people who never truly valued it? This is what happens when boundaries are weak. Now let us go deeper. Boundaries are not arrogance. They are protection. They protect your mental health. They protect your time. They protect your emotional energy. And emotional energy is valuable. Because once your energy is drained, everything feels heavier. Now imagine this. You constantly allow negative people into your life. People who disrespect you. People who only contact you when they need something. People who bring stress instead of peace. Slowly, your mind becomes tired. You lose focus. You lose happiness. Because your environment affects your energy. Now imagine something different. You start setting boundaries. You stop saying yes to everything. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop giving unlimited access to your peace. Immediately, your life begins changing. Because boundaries create balance. Now here is something important. Many people feel guilty when they set boundaries. They think, what if people get upset? What if they leave? But here is the reality. People who truly respect you will respect your boundaries too. And people who become angry when you protect your peace usually benefited from your lack of boundaries. Now let us talk about time. Your time is your life. Every hour you waste is part of your life you will never get back. But many people give their time away carelessly. They spend hours in useless drama, hours trying to impress people, hours chasing attention, and later, they regret it. Now here is the truth. Successful people value time deeply. They understand that time is more valuable than money. Because money can return. Time cannot. Now imagine this. You start protecting your time. You spend less time on negativity, less time on distractions, more time on growth. Slowly, your future changes. Because where your time goes, your life follows. Now let us go even deeper. Valuing yourself also means learning when to walk away. Not every relationship deserves your energy. Not every argument deserves your attention. Not every person deserves endless chances. And mature people understand this. Sometimes peace is more important than attachment. Now here is another truth. When you stop chasing people, your confidence grows. Because chasing often comes from fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of losing people. Fear of not being accepted. But self-respect means understanding that your value does not decrease because someone fails to appreciate you. Now imagine this. You stop begging for attention. You stop trying to force connections. You focus on yourself and your growth. Suddenly, your energy changes. You become calmer, stronger, more confident, because self-respect creates inner peace. Now let us talk about saying no. Many people are afraid to say no. They always try to please everyone. But constantly pleasing others often destroys your own happiness. Now here is something powerful. Every time you say yes to something unhealthy, you are saying no to your own peace. This is why boundaries matter. Now imagine this. You politely say no when something drains your energy. You protect your focus. You choose peace over pressure. Slowly, your life becomes healthier because boundaries create emotional strength. People respect those who respect themselves. When you value your time, others value it too. When you protect your peace, others notice it. When you stop accepting disrespect, your standards rise, and higher standards create a stronger life. Now here is the final truth. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. So protect your time, protect your energy, protect your peace. Because self-respect begins the moment you stop giving everyone unlimited access to your life. Lesson 6. Stop seeking validation. One of the biggest signs of low self-respect is always needing validation from others. Many people cannot feel good about themselves unless someone praises them. They need attention. They need approval. They need someone to tell them they are valuable. And slowly, their happiness becomes dependent on other people. This is dangerous, because if your confidence depends on others, then others can control your confidence. If they praise you, you feel happy. If they ignore you, you feel worthless. If they criticize you, you feel broken. This means your peace is not in your hands anymore. It is in someone else's hands. Now here is the truth. Your value does not come from other people's opinions. Your value comes from who you are and how you treat yourself. If someone does not notice you, you are still valuable. If someone does not appreciate you, you are still worthy. If someone does not understand your journey still matters. Now think about this. How many people change themselves just to be accepted? They hide their real personality. They change their opinions. They pretend to be someone they are not. Why? Because they want approval. But the more you chase approval, the more you lose yourself. And losing yourself is one of the highest prices you can pay. Now let us go deeper. Seeking validation creates insecurity because you are always waiting for someone else to confirm your worth. You post something and wait for likes. You do something good and wait for praise. You make a decision and wait for someone to approve it. But self-respect means you don't need the whole world to clap for you. You can clap for yourself. You can say, I am proud of my effort. I know I am growing. I know my value. That is real confidence. Now here's something important. There is nothing wrong with appreciation. It feels good when people appreciate you. It feels good when someone encourages you. But appreciation should be a bonus, not your oxygen. You should not depend on it to feel alive. Because the moment you depend on validation, you become emotionally weak. Now imagine this. You stop needing everyone's approval. You stop explaining yourself all the time. You stop trying to impress people who don't even understand you. Slowly, your energy changes. You become calmer. You become stronger. You become more focused. Because now your attention is no longer outside. It is inside. Now let us talk about comparison. Validation and comparison are connected. When you compare yourself with others, you start feeling that you are not enough. Then you start chasing approval to feel better. But this cycle never ends, because there will always be someone ahead, someone richer, someone more attractive, someone more successful. So if your confidence depends on comparison, you will never feel peaceful. Now here is the better way. Compare yourself only with your old self. Ask yourself, am I better than I was before? Am I learning? Am I growing? Am I becoming more disciplined? These questions build real confidence because they are based on progress, not outside approval. Now let us go even deeper. People who seek validation often become people pleasers. They say yes when they want to say no. They accept disrespect. They hide their pain. They avoid honest conversations. Why? Because they are afraid of rejection. But here is the truth. If you have to lose yourself to keep someone, that connection is already too expensive. Real relationships do not require you to destroy your self-respect. Now imagine this. You start choosing yourself. You stop begging for attention. You stop chasing people who make you feel small. You stop needing constant reassurance. At first, it may feel uncomfortable because you are learning a new way to live. But slowly, you begin feeling free. Free from approval. Free from pressure. Free from the fear of being judged. And that freedom is powerful. Now here is something powerful. When you stop seeking validation, you become more attractive in your energy. Not because you are trying to impress anyone, but because you are no longer desperate. Desperation pushes people away. Self-respect creates presence. When you know your value, you don't need to prove it loudly. You carry it quietly, and people can feel that. Now let us talk about criticism. When you stop seeking validation, criticism loses power over you. You can listen to useful feedback without feeling destroyed. You can ignore unnecessary hate without losing peace, because your identity is not built on people's opinions anymore. It is built on self-awareness. Now here is a simple habit you can start today. Before asking others, do they like me? Ask yourself, do I respect myself? Before asking, do they approve of me? Ask, am I proud of my actions? Before asking, do they see my value? Ask, am I treating myself like someone valuable? These questions bring your power back. Now here is the final truth. You do not need everyone to understand you. You do not need everyone to like you. You do not need everyone to praise you. You need to know yourself, respect yourself, improve yourself, and stay loyal to your values. Because real confidence begins when you stop asking the world for permission to feel worthy. So from today, stop chasing validation. Stop begging for approval. Stop measuring your worth by people's reactions. Build yourself, respect yourself, and remember, your value is already inside you. You just need to stop giving others the power to decide it. Lesson 7. Focus on yourself and move forward. One of the biggest mistakes people make in life is spending too much time focused on everyone else. Other people's opinions, other people's success, other people's lifestyle. And while watching everyone else, they forget to build their own life. Now here is the truth. Your life changes the moment you stop focusing on others and start focusing on yourself. Because growth begins when your energy stops moving outward and starts moving inward. Now think about this. How much time do people waste every day comparing themselves? They watch others online. They compare money, looks, success, relationships. And after some time, they feel unhappy with their own life. Not because their life is bad, but because they are constantly distracted by everyone else. Now imagine something different. You stop competing with people. You stop trying to impress everyone. You stop chasing attention. And instead, you focus on becoming better every single day. Slowly, your confidence begins to grow. Because real confidence comes from progress, not from comparison. Now let us go deeper. Focusing on yourself does not mean becoming selfish. It means becoming responsible for your own growth. Your mindset, your habits, your discipline, your peace. Because at the end of the day, your future depends on you, not on what other people are doing. Now here is something important. Many people stay stuck because they spend too much energy trying to prove themselves, trying to show others they are successful, trying to make others jealous, trying to get attention. But this kind of life is exhausting because your happiness becomes performance, and performance is temporary. Now imagine this. You stop needing to prove anything. You quietly work on yourself. You improve your skills. You build discipline. You protect your peace. After some time, your life begins changing naturally, not because you were showing off, but because you were growing quietly. And quiet growth is powerful. Now let us talk about distractions. The world is full of distractions. Drama, comparison, validation, negativity. And if you are not careful, these distractions steal your focus. This is why self-focus is so important. Because focus creates progress, and progress creates confidence. Now think about successful people. Most of them spend less time talking and more time improving. They are focused on their goals, focused on learning, focused on growth. That is why they move forward while others stay distracted. Now let us go even deeper. When you focus on yourself, you become calmer emotionally. You stop reacting to every opinion. You stop getting upset over small things because your attention is now on your own path. And peace grows when distractions disappear. Now imagine this. Every morning you wake up with one goal: to become a better version of yourself. Better mentally, better physically, better emotionally. You stop worrying about who is ahead. You stop stressing about who is watching. You simply keep improving. After 1 year, your whole life changes. Not because of luck, but because of consistent self-focus. Now here is another truth. Growth is private before it becomes visible. At first, nobody notices your discipline. Nobody notices your hard work. Nobody notices your sacrifices. But slowly, results begin appearing. And suddenly people wonder how you changed. They only see the result. They don't see the quiet work behind it. This is why you must stay patient. Now let us talk about peace. Peace comes when you stop chasing everything outside yourself. When you stop needing constant approval. When you stop trying to win every argument. When you stop comparing your journey. And peace is powerful, because a peaceful mind makes better decisions. Now imagine this. You focus fully on yourself for 1 year. You improve your habits. You train your mind. You protect your energy. You stop wasting time on drama and comparison. After that year, you become stronger in every area of life. Because self-focus creates transformation. Now here is something powerful. The more focused you become on your own growth, the less interested you become in judging others. Because mature people understand Everyone is fighting their own battles. So instead of criticizing, they improve themselves. Now let us go deeper one final time. Your life is your responsibility. No one else can build it for you. No one else can discipline you for years. No one else can create your future. Only you can do that. And that realization gives you power. Now here is the final truth. The moment you stop chasing people, stop comparing, stop seeking validation, and start focusing fully on yourself, your life begins changing. Your confidence becomes real. Your peace becomes stronger. Your mindset becomes healthier. And your future becomes brighter. So from today, focus on yourself. Protect your peace. Improve daily. And move forward without distractions. Because the greatest investment you will ever make is becoming the best version of yourself. Now think about this for a moment. How many times did you ignore your own value just to be accepted by others? How many times did you stay silent when people disrespected you? How many times did you chase attention, approval, or validation while forgetting to respect yourself? And slowly, you lost your peace. But today, things can change because real confidence does not come from money. It does not come from attention. It does not come from people praising you. Real confidence comes from self-respect. It comes from knowing your value and refusing to lower yourself just to fit into someone else's life. Now you have learned these 7 powerful lessons. Not just ideas, but habits that can completely change your mindset. The way you speak, the way you think, the way you protect your energy. All of these things shape your future. But remember this, watching this video is not enough. Understanding these lessons is not enough. You must practice them daily. Respect yourself daily. Protect your peace daily. Choose growth daily. Because confidence is not built in one moment. It is built through small actions repeated every day. Now imagine this. 1 year from today, you are mentally stronger, emotionally calmer, more disciplined, more confident. Not because life became easier, but because you stopped accepting less than you deserve. And that is real growth. So from today, stop begging for attention. Stop chasing validation. Stop lowering your standards for people who don't value you. Focus on yourself. Build yourself. Respect yourself. Because the moment you truly respect yourself, everything in your life begins to change. If this message connected with you, like this video, share it with someone who needs this message, and subscribe to this channel, because we are here to help you grow stronger mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And your transformation starts today.